Hello, my name is Yaseen Khalil. I'm a postdoc fellow working with the Australian Herbicide Resistant Initiative at the University of Western Australia, working on a project funded by GRDC and trying to address and find solutions for weed management in the phase farming, mainly pasture phase. So the objective of these trials, and in total they were 4 different trials, so it was actually testing the effectiveness of weed management options in serradella as first part. The second part was actually evaluating and quantifying the effect of those treatments on the pasture productivity. So serradella actually can provide an option to implement some of the weed management tactics, options that we can't use it in other phases. So I can give an example. So grazing the serradella when it's actively growing to control ryegrass. So spray topping the serradella to completely stop the ryegrass from setting the seeds. And the other options which is not possible to use it elsewhere is actually brown manuring it and completely killing everything if we are aiming to sort of stop or set the seed set to 0%. Now we are moving to the sort of first trial where we've actually tested quite a wide range of different single tactic weed control options in serradella, some chemicals, some were non-chemicals, and in total we were testing 16 different options. So one of the most sort of effective chemical options early in the growing season were the options or the chemicals that's applied at post-sowing pre-emergent. As an example, for example, so propizimide, imazatapir, and the mixture of both propizimide and imazatapir applied as a post-sowing pre-emergent. These options were very effective in terms of reducing the ryegrass number early in the growing season. Other chemicals actually that we've used and aiming stopping the ryegrass from producing seeds, from setting the seeds. So spray topping with paraquat was very effective, and we've ended up in a situation controlling 80% of the ryegrass and stopping it from setting the seeds. Brown manuring, spraying it with the glyphosate was a great option as well, and in this option we've killed everything, but the control was 100% actually. Yeah. Moving to the non-chemical, some other non-chemical that be included in this trial as well. So green manuring, cultivating everything when the serradella were actively growing. So that's provided a very good sort of control, and we've ended up with 80% sort of control. And the other option actually so was cutting the whole pasture for hay, for silage, and it was a plus or minus a chemical one. So we either spray it after we cut it or don't spray it. Yeah, and I would expect that so spraying after cutting provided a better option. So now moving to the second trial. And here we were actually testing strategies. Instead of a single tactics, now we were combining multiple tactics available, and we've tested them as a package. And those packages were implemented at early stage, so late in the growing stage. And our third option, it was actually early and late. And then fourth option, we were having a glyphosate-free options. So in terms of the effectiveness, early in the growing season, early intervention spraying and using the knockdown as an option before seeding, and then a mixture of propyzimide and imazatapir as a post-sowing pre-emergent option, followed by a mixture of clethodim and factor, where was a great option and best effective in terms of reducing the number. But again, we were not able actually to reduce the biomass, which in itself, in a system like this where you have a sheep, can be a benefit actually. You reduce the ryegrass number but still provide good and enough amount of pasture for the sheep to graze. So late in the season actually, the options where we've used spray topping with paraquat or brown manuring with the glyphosate were the most effective in terms of stopping the weeds from setting the seed. So now we will talk about the third experiments, spray topping with different products at different stages of growth. So what we found actually out of this best options to stop the ryegrass from setting the seeds on one side, on the other side actually allowing the serradella to go and set some seeds, which is a beneficial for the system. We found actually spray topping with 500 ml of paraquat at heading stage of ryegrass was the best option. And even with this option, we've ended up with nearly 300 kilogram per hectare of serradella seed produced as well. So sheep are sort of priceless option available in most of mixed Australian farming system, where you can let them go and graze your weeds, especially the resistant weeds where you can't control with the chemical. And in order actually to clearly understand and collect some data on the value of sheep as a weed agents, we've set it up and established a 6 hectares trial. So where we were testing 2 different pasture species, serradella, Cadiz as a variety. Second one was biserrula, Caspa as a variety. And we've also tested 3 different stocking grades. So in my treatments, so I have 4 sheep per half a hectare, and then 8 sheep per half a hectare, and 12 sheep per half a hectare. And the aim of that actually to test and see the value and the role of the sheep in grazing and controlling the weeds, and specifically stopping the resistant ryegrass from setting the seed. And so far, although it's just 2 weeks since we've introduced the sheep, we are seeing some promising sort of results, and we can see in some instance that the sheep go and selectively graze the ryegrass and even the radish, where we're having biserrula, which is not palatable at this stage of growth.